desarrollando, cómo no, la inteligencia artificial, pero va a ser muy diferente a lo que vemos en la película. En realidad solo es una excusa para ver cuál es la humanidad dentro de ese metal, que es mucho más humano que nosotros, a veces de carne y hueso. Second row, our next question.
Sí, yo quería preguntar a Hugh Jackman si este tipo de entrevistas con holograma significa que ya no vamos a tener más actores de Hollywood en Europa cuando presentemos la
So question for you, Hugh. So the fact that we can see your hologram and you guys look so amazing, does that mean that we here in Europe will no longer see you Hollywood actors? You're no longer going to come visit us in Spain, or what?
I hope not. I really hope not. I'm a little worried the studios will say this is so much easier than those Hollywood divas traveling around. But no, for me, as a kid, I used to have a map of the world next to my bed. I didn't have rock stars or anything. I just dreamt of traveling one day. So as cool as this is, and by the way, it's very painless. I thought it might hurt a little, but it's painless. As cool as it is, I really don't want to stop traveling, particularly coming to Spain, which I love. I've got to tell you, I tried to eat as a hologram. It's just not the same as eating in Spain.
Pues yo realmente...
I want to hologram in.
You know?
Pues yo realmente espero que no. A mí me preocupa que los estudios digan, bueno, este holograma es fantástico, ¿no? Pero no, van a decir, es más fácil que mandar a los divos y divas de Hollywood por todo el mundo. Pues no, yo realmente, una confesión, de niño tenía un mapa mundi en la pared, no era ni pósters de rockeros ni mucho menos, yo soñaba con viajar, así que ¿cómo voy a dejar escapar la ocasión de venir a cualquier sitio y sobre todo a España con lo bien que se come? He intentado comer con el holograma y no es lo mismo, y mucho menos comer como se come en España, así que no os preocupéis, que amo vuestro país y estaré. Next question coming up for you.
Hugh, Neill, en primer lugar, felicidades por la película. Bueno, ¿qué preparación tuvisteis para la película como actor, como director, respectivamente? ¿Qué investigación, qué inspiraciones?
So, both as actor and director, Hugh and Neill, how did you prepare for the film, both as regards inspiration and as regards documentation?
You want to go first?
For me, the great thing about working with Neill was from the moment we started talking about the film, reading the script, we were in a collaborative back and forth dialogue about the character. And I remember saying that I saw Vincent as someone who, obviously he's a brilliant engineer and ex-soldier, but he's in this office where he thinks everyone loves him and he thinks he's the cool guy, but he plainly is not. And very soon after, Neill sent me this image, which is literally the physical template for Vincent, the haircut, the shorts, the long socks, the whole thing. And I immediately said yes. I mean, that was sort of part of the preparation. I also loved the idea and was really enjoying the idea of not just playing someone who hates artificial intelligence for no reason. He's a religious man and he hates it on a religious level, on a philosophical level, and even from a militaristic level. In every way, he's against it. And I really enjoyed sort of getting into that mindset. Personally, I don't think I would be against it, but I can totally understand why some people would.
And what about you, Neill?
Oh, I was going to let you translate that. Okay. Yeah, for me, the documentation in regards to the character was definitely the image that he was talking about. The haircut was a good document that got sent to him. But we did talk a lot about the idea of Hugh's Vincent basically being opposed to what he thinks Dion is doing, which is God's work, by building a being which is sentient, is not the domain of man, and he shouldn't be doing that. In terms of sort of research or documentation to do with the whole concept, I think AI, for me, I've been interested in for probably over a decade. It's just a topic that I find really, really interesting. And I think, like, if you're an artist, you kind of work, you look at inspiration and things in the world, and you don't necessarily think that you're doing it to make a movie. You're just interested. And then one day you realize when you merge it with another idea that it kind of turns into something. And on one hand, I had the idea of this the way that I see newborn babies or newborn animals, which is this like uncorrupted, pure element, and then this hostile world, and how that blank slate will be changed over time as it moves through the world. It'll be influenced, maybe negatively.
Pues decía Hugh que lo primero fue leer el guión, ¿no? Y ver ese
Can I add something to
personaje
that?
plasmado
Or is that
en
going to be too much to
papel.
translate?
Don't worry, I can handle it. y decía que Vincent es un
In terms of
ingeniero-
preparation, oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'll be right with you. Just let me run through that in Spanish.
Just as annoying as a hologram as I am in real life, I apologize.
Well, that way we feel it's real, right? Pues sí, decía Hugh que Vincent es una persona brillante, es un ingeniero muy inteligente, fue soldado. Y que Neill le dio esas pautas, ¿no? Que ya estaban en el guión, su corte de pelo, los calcetines, esa estética, esa presencia física que impone. Él se cree que es maravilloso y estupendo, pero en cambio no tiene el respeto de muchos de sus compañeros. Pero la idea de ver que es mucho más que el exterior, que es el pensamiento de que lo odia a nivel religioso y filosófico, ¿no? El pensamiento que hay detrás de la inteligencia artificial, porque él lo ve como es el terreno de Dios, no el del hombre. Nos contaba Neill que a la hora de comentar el personaje era importante pues centrarse en esos argumentos, ¿no? En que realmente es una contradicción, son dos campos que se interrelacionan, si es Dios, si es el hombre, el darle vida a un ser, ¿no? Un ser que piensa y que siente. Y decía que a mí me interesa la inteligencia artificial hace más de 10 años, que estoy muy metido en el tema, y a veces no piensas que vas a hacer una película, pero luego se transforma. Tú eres un apasionado, lees, viajas, hablas, discutes con personas, y al final te das cuenta de que lo que tú buscas, lo que yo quería en esta película es centrarme en cosas que veo en el mundo, ¿no? Que son muy reales, muy cotidianas. Un niño, cómo nace, que es como una hoja en blanco, pero luego a veces las influencias pueden ser negativas, y cómo puede cambiar y transformarse. Next question. We're ready here?
Can I just add something to that?
Oh, sure. Here. Go ahead, Hugh.
Neill, oh, sorry. So Neill is underselling obviously his level of preparation, but just one cool little tidbit that I thought was amazing, because he has the whole film in his head, the vision, right down to the design of all the characters. And on my desk in the office, when you watch the film, in Vincent's office, is a model of the moose, which is the machine that my character has made. And I'm right in saying you actually built that. That was one of the first things you built and designed, right?
Yeah. I 3D, I kit bashed it in 3D.
Yeah. I mean, there's not many directors who actually literally sort of build the things and design the things that you finally see on screen. So yeah, this is an incredible mind, brain, design and creative hologram right here.
And mediocre squash player.
I don't know what that says about me. Sorry, we're in the middle of a squash war right now, which I'm failing in.
Seguimos con la siguiente pregunta, luego lo traducimos al final para los que lo necesiten. Let's go ahead with the next question.
Creo que está... Uy. Vuelvo a repetir. Bueno, en primer lugar, felicidades por la película. Al igual que esta conferencia está siendo totalmente realista, lo que me sorprende mucho en Chappie es el fotorrealismo total de la película, porque muchas veces se dice que las cintas de Hollywood, al tener alto presupuesto, pues todas están bien hechas, pero lo cierto es que no siempre es así. Sin embargo, en Chappie conscientemente distingues evidentemente qué es realidad y qué es ficción, pero a nivel visual es prácticamente imposible. ¿Creen que llegaremos a ver en algún momento el límite tecnológico en el cine? Porque a este paso ya seremos incapaces de distinguir qué es realidad y qué es ficción, incluso entre los propios personajes principales. Muchas gracias.
So congratulations, Neill. Oftentimes they say that, because Hollywood films have big budgets, that the photography is always so great and realistic, but it's not the case. But I want to congratulate you because of the photorealism of the film. I mean, it's really clear to see, what's fact, what's fiction, what's real, but sometimes it's hard to distinguish the two. So just congrats on that, and how exactly did you pull that off?
Well, thank you. I think sometimes the things that I really get drawn to in filmmaking tend to be a little bit on the outside of character and story. I can get so wrapped up in imagery that I have to kind of remind myself like why people go to films. So one of my favorite parts is, you know, creating the imagery behind the film. And in the case of Chappie, we had an interesting challenge, which was to create an absolutely 100% photorealistic robot that was essentially the lead character of the film and needed to actually pull the audience in on an emotional level, which is really kind of quite a large challenge for something that doesn't have a face. So what I tried to do was I tried to think of the best way, like give myself the best chance of creating photorealistic visual effects. And a lot of it actually has to do with lighting. If you light something in computer graphics incorrectly, you start off on the wrong foot. Immediately, the artists have a really, really difficult job ahead of them. So if the director lights something properly, they are going to be better off. And then secondly, the materials on the robot, you've got to think really, really carefully. Even the difference between plastic versus metals, the types of paints, even though it's all virtual, the way they bounce light has a dramatic effect in terms of realism. So you've got to choose the right material, and you've got to light correctly. And we had almost no practical models in the film at all. The biggest practical model was Hugh's moose. When he's walking around it and touching it, when it's not moving, it's practical. That was probably the most large usage of a non-CG asset. Everything else, as soon as it moves, is computer graphics.
Muy bien, gracias Neill. Vamos con una pregunta, vamos a luego interpretarlo al castellano después, no os preocupéis, que estoy tomando nota.
Hola.
Last question.
Sí, para Neill.
Sholto Copley too. At this point, can I just? Sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm
Go
being
ahead,
annoying
Hugh.
again.
Go ahead, and then it's the
There
last
you have
question.
But for those who don't understand, because I may not have understood, the robot of Chappie is played on set by Sholto Copley, who is the lead actor in District 9, a wonderful, wonderful actor. And so the physicality, the body language, the character, the growth from this sort of very innocent child through adolescence and as he grows up was realized by Sholto, and I'm sure that really helped the artists who brought it to life.
Yeah, well, even more than helped them, I mean, it drove them. You know, they had
Right.
the animators don't have anything without Shaw's performance.
Great, last question, we're ready for you?
Bueno,
Go
un par
ahead.
de preguntas para Neill. En primer lugar, con respecto al tema de robótica, todos los elementos científicos que tiene la película, además de tu propio interés e investigación, ¿habéis contado con asesoramiento científico de cerca para que supervisara todos esos aspectos? Y segunda pregunta, porque decís que es la última, en todas tus películas se repiten una serie de elementos con cosas nuevas, en diferentes combinaciones. ¿Qué vamos a ver de Chappie o de tus antiguas películas en Alien 5?
So, question for you, Neill. In addition to all of the robotics and science that we see in the film, you know, we've heard you say that you've researched amply, but did you have any consultants perhaps on set or anyone that you referred to, you know, be close and say, okay, yes, this makes sense, go ahead with that, that's feasible? And secondly, you know, we see repetitive, recurring elements in your cinema. So what will we see? Will we find anything from District 9 or any echo from Chappie in Alien 5?
In terms of people, you know, specialists or experts in any area related to the film so far, I haven't really done that. And I think the reason that I haven't done it is because so far I've never really made a film that has been explicitly about the science in the film. It's kind of weird. I mean, I love science and I love a lot of the technology around the movies, but the humanistic nature of the films kind of makes me seem to use the science simply as an excuse to get to something human. Like District 9 is about racial oppression, Elysium was about wealth discrepancy between the rich and the poor, and Chappie is about the consciousness, you know, and soul of any living being. So I don't really need to, the accuracy of the science isn't necessarily important. It's more creating a feeling through it. So essentially, I just fake my way through it without speaking to people that know anything about it. In terms of Alien, I think that my job, as far as I see it, is to, as a fan of that franchise and of the first two movies, my job is to give the fans, including me, a movie that feels as linked to the first and second film as I can possibly handle. Like, everything about it needs to be connected to those movies. So I need to not inject too many wild ideas or similarities between my other films that detracts from that. But I think that if I can make it my own in the way that Cameron made Aliens his own in difference to Ridley's, then I can do it to that percentage, but never at the harm of the tone of the first two movies.
Well, thank you so much. We could have you here all day, but holograms get tired too, and then eventually you'll need to rest and eat. So thank you so much. We can say goodbye from here. Los podemos despedir si queremos con un fuerte aplauso.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Muy bien, pues si os parece podemos ahora, los que queráis, escuchar un poquito las respuestas de la última pregunta. Si os parece, comentaba Neill que, bueno, lo que yo hago realmente no es hablar de ciencia, sino que un poquito pues lo falseo, porque lo que me interesan son los temas humanos que hay detrás. Así que realmente a gusto la ciencia y la tecnología, sí, pero como simple fan, no como erudito ni mucho menos. Y lo que me interesa, por ejemplo, la primera película, Distrito 9, trataba de la opresión racial, Elysium trataba de esas grandes desigualdades entre ricos y pobres. Y en el caso de Chappie es utilizar un robot para hablar del tema humano, de lo que es el alma, el espíritu y la conciencia. Respecto a Alien 5, pues creo que tengo que hacer lo mío, que no se basa en lo que yo haya hecho antes en estas tres películas, sino se basa en respetar la tradición, hacer lo mío de una forma auténtica, que esté vinculada, ¿no? Al igual que lo hicieron Cameron y Ridley en su momento, que tenga un sabor diferente pero una continuidad, una coherencia. En la pregunta anterior comentaba Hugh que Sharlto Copley ha tenido mucho que ver, o sea, sin esa brillante interpretación de este actor no podrían hacer nada los artistas luego en el ordenador. Y todo dependía de sus gestos, de su movimiento. Y era complicado, apuntaba antes el director, porque ¿cómo haces que un robot sin rostro te cautive, ¿no? con sus emociones? ¿Cómo logras esa conexión emocional, ese vínculo que es necesario entre el protagonista, que es un robot, y el espectador? Y también comentaba Neill que era muy importante dos cuestiones para ese fotorrealismo que efectivamente quería conseguir, que buscaba en la película. Por una parte era la iluminación, la luz era muy importante, porque si no los artistas tampoco pueden hacer nada en el ordenador, que eran hacer 1000 pruebas también con los materiales y cómo se reflejaba la luz. Los materiales del robot, fuera plástico, metal, todo se tenía que comprobar, mirarlo con lupa para que tuvieran el resultado deseado. Si hay alguna pregunta, si algo no ha quedado claro, lo podemos plantear, y si no, podéis acercaros después si necesitáis ampliar cualquier pregunta o respuesta. Muchas gracias y gracias por participar en este evento histórico en el cine. Nos vemos el 13 de marzo para ver a Chappie.